David Beckham has been seen among the many thousands of people queuing to visit the Queen lying in state, and his attendance caused a bit of a media scrum.
We all want to be here together. We all want to experience something where we celebrate the amazing life of our Queen. And I think, something like this today is meant to be shared together. So, the fact that we've been here, we're eating Pringles, we're eating sherbet lemons, we're eating sandwiches, having coffee, so donuts as well.
And I bet, Madam, you didn't think that you'd be in the queue with David Beckham, did you?
No, I didn't, but big respect to him. He's stood with us and he's paid his respects how he wants to.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing. And it's just been really good.
And how long have you been in the queue, David?
I think we all got here, 12 hours.
Right, okay. And how's it been on the knees? Because we've seen you sort of
knees are okay, it's the back.
That footage was uploaded by a BBC journalist, and Sky streamed this live as David Beckham walked past the Queen's coffin.
He has now finally reached the hall, and he too, in that queue, waiting to process past the coffin. Here he is. He will no doubt, like so many others, have made friends as he's waiting. We've heard of all sorts of friendships having been formed in the many hours that people have queued, numbers being exchanged afterwards, hugs being exchanged as well. I witnessed it myself a couple of days ago when I was down there speaking to people. But David Beckham clearly wanting to come and pay his respects like any other member of the public. He was wearing his cap, I think, his tweed cap a little bit earlier to perhaps keep the sun off the top of his head.
He was wearing a tweed cap earlier, perhaps to keep the sun off the top of his head, is exactly the kind of cutting-edge journalism we've all got used to over the past few days. Thank God we have journalists to tell us why people might wear caps. Let's get back to Beckham's decision to join the queue, though, because a cynic might wager that respect for the Queen wasn't the only reason Beckham waited for 13 hours. As it just happens to be the case that the former footballer is widely known to be desperate to become Sir David Beckham. In December last year, the Mirror reported this. David Beckham was again snubbed in the New Year's honours list, despite reportedly being given the all-clear to receive a knighthood. The former England captain is widely regarded as a Sir-in-waiting after enjoying a remarkable footballing career, both on and off the pitch. It's believed Beckham, who is an OBE, was previously ineligible for a knighthood because of an issue with HM Revenues and Customs. Although that problem has reportedly been resolved, Beckham was not included in the New Year's honours list. David Beckham has a long-standing beef with the Honours Committee, as was revealed in a cache of leaked emails in 2017. This is from another Mirror article at the time of that leak. The former England and Man United star was alleged to have branded the Honours Committee unappreciative C-words, referring to the New Year's Honours OBE for opera star Catherine Jenkins, who had confessed to taking drugs in the past. Beckham is said to have raged, quote, "Catherine Jenkins OBE for what? Singing at the rugby and going to see the troops plus taking coke? Effing joke." Blasting the Honours Committee, Beckham, who won an OBE in 2003, said, quote, "I expected nothing less. It's a disgrace, to be honest. And if I was an American, I would have got something like this 10 years ago." Referring to an email from the Honours Committee, Beckham is also alleged to have written, quote, "Unless it is a knighthood, F off." Beckham has also been accused of using his UNICEF ambassadorship to get a top gong. On that front, the leaked emails didn't help either. So the Mirror right there. Another email showed PR man Oliveira suggesting he put $1 million or £800,000 into a UNICEF prize-giving dinner in Shanghai. The leaked show Beckham replied, quote, "I don't want to put my personal money into this cause. To pour this million into the fund is like putting my own money in. If there was no fund, the money would be for me. This effing money is mine." The reason it's, we keep saying alleged, is because there was some denials that David Beckham had wrote these emails. He was sort of claiming they'd been fabricated. Then he also seemed to admit a bunch of times that actually he had written them, but he was, in the heat of the moment. Aaron, obviously David Beckham's attendance, getting a lot of coverage, getting a lot of positive coverage, I should say. Am I being a little bit cynical? Am I being too cynical by associating Beckham's queuing with any longing for a gong?
Well, first of all, Michael, we're journalists. It's our job to provide context, to ask questions. That's our job. It's not our job to comment on. It's not our job to comment on why somebody wore a flat cap. Unless you work at Sky or the BBC, apparently it is. I am always very suspicious of any celebrity putting themselves in the public eye and standing in front of a camera. They spend their lives trying to not do this unless it's in a way which benefits them. Brand Beckham is a very, very big deal. And I think clearly this is part of a choreographed effort to bolster his chances of getting a knighthood. Clearly. That doesn't mean he doesn't believe what he's doing. I'm sure he does. But the manner in which he's going there as a man of the people, I don't think it was mentioned there. For instance, he was told in private communications about don't post a gold laptop on Instagram because you're trying to cultivate this image of a man of the people. Everything about his image and his brand is assiduously cultivated by him and his PR people. So no, this is not an accident. No, we're not being mean. Does he deserve a knighthood? I mean, I don't really know why he does. I don't think, does Gary Neville have a knight? He's the class of 92. Did he win a World Cup? No. He was the England captain. So loads of other players were England captain. They've not got knighthoods. Kenny Dalglish, one of the best players in Europe. He's an older guy now. He only got a knighthood 4 years ago. What's the basis of the argument here? It's because he's a celebrity. He's not going to get a knighthood purely on the basis of his sporting accomplishments. It's about brand Beckham. And so that's why I think we're seeing this. And it's about being that man of the people. And look, Michael, we've talked about the merits of constitutional monarchy, republic, etc. I'm a Republican. But if we were a republic, this guy would be the president. We'd be looking at the centrist Beckham versus the right-wing Jeremy Clarkson and the left-wing Mick Lynch. That would be, look, politics would be a lot more interesting, right? If we had a presidential system like that, or if we had PR with more charismatic leaders. But yes, be a bit more skeptical in life. Don't be as credulous as literally the most stupid people in British public life, which is the media in London. And yeah, ask yourself a question. Why is he there? And why is somebody who understandably would be very private because of their celebrity actively putting themselves in front of a camera? I think quite an obvious answer to that.
I'm on team cynic when it comes to why David Beckham was there. I'm actually going to push back a little bit about him deserving a knighthood, because reading about this today, I read this in the Mirror. Cycling icons Laura and Jason Kenny have become the first wife and husband to receive a damehood and knighthood in the same honours for their Olympic exploits. Now, I've never heard of Laura and Jason Kenny, and I assume all they've done is some sporting success. So why not? I think if these two people, maybe there's something about them I don't know. I don't know anything about them, in fact. I think David Beckham should get a knighthood. He was the most famous footballer of his generation. I don't know.
They've got their gongs, Michael, because they won the highest prize in that particular sport for the UK or for Great Britain. Beckham hasn't done anything with England. He didn't win anything with England. If
and he
this
never
team,
won the
by the way,
Ballon d'Or or whatever, did he?
Well, no, even if he won the Ballon d'Or, that's not with England, right? That's with his club team. If England had won the European Championships, Gareth Southgate would have been Sir Gareth Southgate. That doesn't mean Gareth Southgate has achieved more in the game than David Beckham. I mean, he clearly hasn't. But it's because he won a very prestigious prize with a national side. Beckham didn't do that. The pinnacle of Beckham's international career was scoring a free kick in the last minute against Greece to qualify for the 2002 World Cup. As great as that was, as elated as I was, that isn't the basis to get a knighthood. Sorry. We should have been winning that game 3-4-0. It was one of the worst England performances ever. So, no, of course he shouldn't. Or his penalty against Argentina in the 2002 World Cup. I mean, it was an awful penalty. It should have been saved, by the way. So, no, you shouldn't get a knighthood on the basis of that. Oh, he's the most famous footballer. Jesus Christ, what are we going to give knighthoods to people on TikTok and Instagram next?